Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into some absolutely fascinating insights that tackle a massive and honestly incredibly common frustration in product development. We're going to look at exactly how to stop what's known as insight decay. Basically, we're figuring out how to transform those long, rambling, unstructured customer interviews into perfectly scoped, ready to ship engineering tickets. So if you've ever felt like your team is doing tons of research, but somehow very little of it actually makes it into the final product, you are exactly in the right place. Let's dive in.
Okay, so when I first saw this data from Product Board and Pendo, it literally blew my mind. Over 70% of customer interview findings are never translated into actionable product tasks. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. 70%. That means all that hard-won, incredibly expensive customer research just ends up sitting in a graveyard. Your team is putting hundreds of hours into customer discovery, asking all the right questions, hunting down those user friction points, and then the vast majority of it is completely wasted. And that right there brings us to the absolute villain of our story today, insight decay. These incredibly valuable insights don't just magically disappear, they get trapped. They remain locked away in these entirely unstructured formats. We're talking about those massive 50-page PDF transcripts, scattered Google Docs, and oh man, those endless, chaotic Slack threads where context just goes to die. When data lives like this, it literally decays. It completely loses its urgency, and ultimately, it loses its ability to influence your product roadmap at all.
But wait, what's really wild here is the hidden cost of trying to rescue that decaying data manually. According to studies from the American Psychological Association, the cognitive shift required to manually transfer data from a raw transcript over to a rigid project management tool can reduce your efficiency by up to 40%. That context switching cost is absolutely brutal. Think about it. You're dragging your brain from deep empathy and nuanced conversation analysis right into the strict administrative structure of a Jira board. It's totally exhausting, and quite frankly, it's terribly inefficient.
So honestly, because of that massive brain drain, it's no shocker at all that user testing reports 65% of product managers identify synthesis and prioritization as the primary bottleneck in the entire product lifecycle. This validates the pain point so perfectly. If your research isn't digitized and synthesized properly, well, it essentially doesn't exist for the engineers who actually have to go and build the solution. If the engineers can't see it clearly, they can't build it, period.
All right, let's move on to Section 1, Anatomy of an Actionable Ticket, and look beyond those raw transcripts. We really need to shift our focus from that messy, unstructured raw data to exactly what engineering actually needs to see to start building. You literally cannot hand a developer a 45-minute raw call transcript and expect them to hunt down a task. It's agonizing for everyone involved. Instead, we're looking at the gold standard championed by product-led growth leaders, which is the actionable ticket. This relies on a highly structured schema. You see, an actionable ticket doesn't just describe a feature you want built, it fundamentally justifies its very existence based on real, tangible data.
So what does this perfect ticket actually look like? Well, think of it as a super reliable checklist. Number 1, the pain point. That's a concise, crystal clear summary of the friction you heard on the call. Number 2, the user story, following that classic, as a persona, I want to do this action so that I get this value format. Number 3, and this is massive, time-stamped evidence links. Giving engineers a direct link to the exact moment a customer experienced the pain point builds incredible trust. And finally, number 4, prioritization metadata. These are your low, medium, and high tags based on specific user segments. Which brings us nicely to Section 2, the automated AI pipeline. From a Zoom call straight to a Jira task. So how on earth do modern product teams actually pull this off without manually synthesizing everything? Well, it's this incredibly cool 4-step automated pipeline. Step 1, large language models, like GPT-4o or Claude 3.5 Sonnet, automatically scan the transcript to extract attributes like pain points and intensity. This completely eliminates the need for a human to reread the text. Step 2, middleware like Zapier or Make, pipes those findings directly into what we call insight objects in tools like Product Board. Step 3 is reaching evidence density, which we'll define in just a sec. And finally, Step 4. Only once that density is reached, the system automatically triggers the Jira or linear task. Now, I gotta tell you, the real secret sauce making all of this work seamlessly is a brilliant concept called evidence density. Evidence density is simply the threshold that's reached when a specific theme appears across multiple customer conversations, mathematically validating an engineering task. This is the absolutely crucial mechanism that ensures your engineers only ever see high-value validated work. It completely stops those one-off requests from a single really loud customer from instantly becoming a distracting engineering ticket. The system literally waits until the data proves without a doubt that it's a real widespread problem.
Okay, let's wrap this up with Section 3, eliminating bias and boosting velocity. When you really look at how this automated pipeline shifts team culture, the contrast is kind of night and day. You see, human synthesis is inherently flawed by recency bias. We naturally gravitate to the loudest customer we just spoke to yesterday, right? Plus, we're heavily limited by small sample sizes. Automated AI, on the flip side, can instantly cluster hundreds of transcripts and surface themes based purely on statistical frequency. AI essentially acts as a shield, protecting your roadmap from one-off anecdotes and building it entirely on representative, undeniable user needs. And the ultimate result? It's what high-velocity teams are calling evidence-first development. The benefits here are totally twofold. First, you get incredible transparency for developers. They understand exactly why they are coding a feature because the raw evidence is attached right there on the ticket. And second, you get massive velocity gains. Because the prioritization is pre-validated by the data itself, your team spends way less time arguing in endless discovery meetings and a whole lot more time actually in delivery mode. So this leaves us with one final, totally crucial question for you. Are you ready to stop losing valuable research data? Take a second and think about your own team right now. I highly, highly encourage you to audit your own discovery to delivery handoff today. Find out exactly where those insights are decaying, stop relying on painful manual synthesis, and start building a pipeline backed by real data to ensure every single development hour is driven by clear customer intent. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. And hey, here's to shipping much better products.